Live from 627 Event Space, this is Hornet Talk, your weekly look inside Emporia State Athletics. Hornet Talk is brought to you by 627 Event Space, Black Creek Diesel and Automotive, Emporia State Federal Credit Union, Newman Regional Health, Shelter Insurance Agents Kelly Medrano and Dave Watts, and by Sports Connection. Here's the voice of the Emporia State Hornets, Blake Cripps.
The Emporia State football team responded to an early Southern touchdown with 28 unanswered points before holding off a fourth-quarter charge by the Lions to win 31-24 on Education Day at Welch Stadium last week. Now the Hornets look for a third straight win as they head on the road for Saturday Night Football in prime time at Central Oklahoma on Saturday. Kickoff is set for 7 o'clock with the RV Doc pregame show at 6 on Mix 104.9. And with that, we welcome you into the brand new Hornet Talk here at 627 Event Space at 627 Commercial here in downtown Emporia. The Hornets played brilliantly, dominating most of the first half and third quarter. Had to show some resolve down the stretch to top a valiant Missouri comeback. The Broncos they face on Saturday have been plagued by injuries. They've been a little bit lacking in the consistency department, but they've also won their last two as they scored the last 14 points of the game to beat Fort Hays State on the road 21-14 last week. The last time these teams met was the Hornets trying to rally from an early deficit but couldn't quite catch up with the Chos as they claimed the regular season MIAA title with the win. And with that, it's time to welcome in the star of the show, now with 116 career wins, head coach Garin Higgins of the Emporia State Hornets. Coach, you guys had some great plays offensively, defensively in that game. For you guys, some big special teams performances as well, especially in the kicking game. And I think overall, probably won all three phases of the game on Saturday to pick up another big MIAA win. And you told the guys coming in, don't take it for granted. And the Lions, they battled you all the way down to the very last whistle.
Yeah, I think special teams-wise, I agree with winning all three phases. And I tell you, more importantly, I was really excited about how our extra point team, we were 100% on extra points, and Dottie did a good job. Also made a critical field goal, 41-yard field goal, I think.
Career high, by the way.
Yes. The only thing that we'd like to have back probably is the muffed punt that we had, that turned the ball over in our own territory. But besides that, I think we've been playing really well in special teams, and we got to continue to have that with especially in this game coming up.
It's time for today's specials, and there were plenty of special plays last Saturday. It's brought to you by 627 Event Space. Stop by tonight. They close at 9, and on special every Monday, $8 for 6 bone-in wings, and plenty of drink specials here, including the $7 flag on the field, coconut rum, pineapple juice, or orange juice and grenadine. It's right here at 627 Event Space. And also want to welcome those of you who are listening live, kvoe.com/listen, listening online, and also a reminder that we are streaming on the ESU Athletics YouTube channel. Missouri Southern opened up the game with a touchdown scoring on their signature play. They chucked it deep, and it was a 75-yard bomb on the third play of the game to put the Hornets on their heels 7-0, but ESU wasted no time finding the equalizer. 2nd and 6, they're going to throw to the end zone. In between two defenders, it's caught. Oatis spins off the head. Touchdown! Emporia State, Malik Oatis in the end zone again. And the Hornets answer right back with a 75-yard drive of their own. And it's 7-6, an extra point away from tying this game. Coach, you had everything on that drive except for a Jeff Williams big play of 30 yards or more, so we didn't get him his read on that play. But how big was that for you guys to come down and put together? I mean, that was a vintage Hornet offensive drive right there, just going right down the field.
Yes, we played with great tempo that first opening series and executed at a really high level. And the pass that Ben threw is a great ball, threw it to the field. And, we were able to get points on the board right there. And again, they jumped up off to 7-0 lead. And really, we just misjudged that ball and had a chance to pick that ball
and
off.
It looked like it seemed very similar to the Angelo State one where the Hornet fell down. It looked like your two guys kind of clipped each other a little bit. One of them probably would have made the tackle if they had not, but they kind of knocked each other off. But you guys didn't stop there. You guys kept the momentum going, and continuing a theme from last game, you also kept the momentum going on the ground with Diego Kearns.
Here's Kearns' first carry. Big gaping hole inside the 10-5. Touchdown, Emporia State. Kearns speeds into the end zone for rushing touchdown number 3 on the season.
And it was the first of 3 touchdowns on the ground for the Black and Gold, as you guys over these last couple of weeks have really established the running game as being a big part of your scoring offense.
Yeah, and Blake, quite honestly, it's helping us, and it's we're more efficient offensively. I think those guys up front are doing a great job. I think that this group, Coach Cash has talked about it, very gritty group, tough group. And then I think, we've really concentrated this fall on being a very physical type offense. And we do spread you out and make you defend every blade of grass on that field. But, we can be a physical team. I think we're starting to show that. And not only with what we're doing up front, but also I think our receivers are doing a great job blocking on the perimeter, and it's making us better. And our backs are – Diego and Camden both are becoming a really good two-headed monster right there.
This note I didn't even change from last week, as the Hornets later in the first half for the second straight week found another big play on special teams.
There's a kick, and it's blocked. The Hornets block a kick. They block another one. It was not Reese. It was Asher Huffman.
That was the kicker. They used a different kicker in the ball game than the one we were anticipating. They went back and changed the scoring, gave it to C.J. Adams. So a couple of punt blocks. Didn't get a punt in this game, but you block a field goal.
No question. Everything matters, especially in the MIAA. Anywhere that you can gain an advantage, whether that's blocking a punt or blocking an extra point, and us being able to do that. And also, I think it also gets momentum back on your side too.
It was on to talk about a big momentum play. They definitely got a defensive momentum play from their leader.
3rd down and 8, 35-yard line for the Lions. 3 to the far side, 1 to the near side. Martin over the middle. It's intercepted. Landon Boss. He's tackled immediately, dragging a Lion to the 33-yard line. What a game for Landon Boss.
I mean, you talk about what a game. He turned out to be the National NCAA Defensive Player of the Week, and it's got to be one of the better games. We're going to talk with him on the show, but that was a huge interception for him right there.
A huge interception. And we kind of at times, I don't want to say struggle, but we weren't as efficient sometimes offensively, and Landon being able to get the turnover really kind of got us going. But he played great all day. I mean, that was one of the best performances I've seen at the linebacker position here at Emporia State. With if you just look at what he did statistically with the interception, he set a school record with the 4 sacks, and then he also had the 11 tackles.
Yeah, his second career double-digit tackle game. He'll be a guest later on in the show, by the way. And then our last clip that we'll have for you for our special segment will be the Hornets getting back into the end zone in the third quarter. But the only thing that the Hornets had not gotten done in the ground game this year was a quarterback rushing touchdown. Well, Ben Harris took care of that in the second half against the Lions.
It's a design quarterback run. Here's Harris into the end zone, and he runs over a line at the goal line. Touchdown, Emporia State. Another rushing touchdown for the Hornet offense.
And I know that sometimes you don't necessarily love when the quarterbacks put their body on the line, but the Lion got the worst part of that collision for sure.
Well, he did, and unfortunately, Ben got a personal foul call.
Was that?
He wanted to show how tough he was after he scored on it.
He was pretty tough
too. So
I don't think they called out the number afterwards, or we couldn't hear the mic on the ref. But what a run by him!
Yeah, it was just again they gave us there were no linebackers in the box, really just a 4-man box, and we were able to run a little trap play for the quarterback, and he was able to put it in the end zone.
So those are our specials here today at 627 Event Space. Make sure you come out and see them here. 627 Event Space, downtown Emporia. Ashley and the crew can't wait to serve you. We'll come back. We've got more with Coach Higgins here in just a moment, recapping this win on Saturday against Missouri Southern, live from 627 Event Space. This is Hornet Talk. You're listening to Emporia State Football.
Headed to the game or celebrating after? Swing by 627 Event Space Bar and Grill. Whether you're grabbing a burger before kickoff or winding down with a beer after the buzzer, 627 has you covered. Emporia's go-to spot for great food, cold drinks, and unbeatable vibes. 627 Event Space Bar and Grill, the new home for Hornet Talk at 627 Commercial. Proud supporters of the Emporia State University Hornets. Stingers up!
Do you have a new driver in the family? Start them off with just more than the fundamentals of driving from point A to B. Make sure they understand what actually keeps their car reliable and on the road and safe. At Black Creek Diesel Automotive, they can schedule regular maintenance with oil changes, tire rotations, and more. Visit blackcreekdieselautomotive.com or give them a call at 620-343-0086. A safe car helps make a safe driver. Black Creek Diesel Automotive, 3105 West 6th here in Emporia.
As the leaves fall, it's the perfect time to grow your financial know-how. At Emporia State Federal Credit Union, they believe in helping you create a strong financial future. Whether you're learning to budget, save for the holidays, or plan for the new year, they're here to help every step of the way. Free courses and calculators can be found by clicking on the banner at esfcu.com or text or call them today, 620-342-2336. Federally insured by NCUA.
When you need fast care, Newman Regional Health Medical Partners Express Care is here for you. Conveniently located on site at Newman Regional Health, Express Care offers walk-in service for non-emergency illnesses and injuries, no appointment needed. Open 7 days a week to keep you feeling your best. Call today at 620-343-7828. Trust Express Care for quick, reliable treatment. Newman Regional Health Medical Partners Express Care, helping the Hornets achieve their healthy goals.
It's time to fall forward into football season and cheer on your favorite teams. So why not get new gear for you and your family at Sports Connection? Sports Connection carries Emporia High and area high school team apparel, as well as ESU, KU, and K-State gear. They also do custom screen printing for your team, booster club, or your family and fans. Catch the spirit with new fan gear from Sports Connection. Sports Connection, 2721 West 15th Emporia.
Did you get us switched over to shelter insurance?
Actually, I found a deal online.
You did. Does your deal come with award-winning customer service?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Does the deal include a local agent?
Doesn't actually say.
Can we create a customized plan that fits our needs? Let's just call the local shelter agent.
For insurance that fits just right, find a shelter agent near you.
For auto, home, life, or business insurance, see shelter agent Dave Watts. Mix 104.9.
The Hornets heading to Central Oklahoma, Edmond, Oklahoma, there in the OKC Metro to Chad Richardson Stadium for a 7 o'clock kickoff. They like their nighttime kickoffs there in Oklahoma. We'll have our pregame coverage with the RB Doc pregame show at 6 on Mix 104.9. Listen online at kvoe.com/listen. We're here with head coach Garin Higgins. Our guests on the show today will be quarterback coach Braden Gleason in his second year. He'll talk quarterbacks with us, and then Landon Boss, as I mentioned, the NCAA National Defensive Player of the Week with a superlative effort. So those are our guys who are going to be talking about this win over Moso as the Hornets win their second in a row, 31-24 over Missouri Southern on Education Day. You mentioned early in the year that, hey, we need to see what kind of a team that we have when we get punched in the mouth, when we face adversity. You know, you guys haven't always been able to overcome the adversity, but you haven't shied away from it, and you guys have come back with your best effort in each and every game. And I think there's been some adversity, maybe with the exception of Missouri Western. There wasn't much adversity in that game, but in all the other ones, you guys have shown, you know, some grit, some toughness, and that was no different on Saturday.
No, that's one thing, and I've said this about this team, and that's why I really like this team, is that I think it's a competitive group. I think it's a resilient group. I think these guys, you know, they're not afraid of the moment. I think that, you know, sometimes it's frustrating when you got, you know, you do have guys with inexperience. But now, and I've said this to you, Blake, that we're at our Game 7, right? So, hey, guess what? You're experienced now.
Freshmen don't get to be freshmen
That's
anymore.
exactly right, you know. So, but earlier, you know, in the year we had some growing pains. I always felt like just the core of this group, there was toughness, and it's shown, because even the games where we got down, or just like Angelo, where they jumped up on us 27-0, we found a way to fight back. We just, made some mistakes that were just hard to overcome. And so I'm proud of this group, and I think we are getting better. I really believe that. And if we can continue to get better, we're going to be a dangerous team.
Well, you mentioned the fact that you guys are having to play better, and you're trying to eliminate some of those mistakes. And this game, one thing that you have talked about is penalties. And, your average for the season, it's 10 for 88, but last week it was 5 for 55. How much of that have you seen maturity on in not putting yourself behind the sticks on first down, or on the other side of the ball, giving up free first downs? It was your best penalty game of the year by far.
Yeah, no question. I think when you look at everything in detail, let's just, our pre-snap penalties, all right? You go back to Angelo State, and, if you look at those pre-snap penalties we had earlier in the year compared to now, like, I don't think we had any on pre-snap penalties on Saturday. And maybe the week before, I think maybe we just had one, okay? And maybe we had one Saturday, I'm not for sure, but, like, we have totally cut those out, knock on wood. And those are the things that you see within the growth of our team, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
Well, if you talk about growth, looking at the defensive side of the ball, once again, the Division II Defensive Player of the Week, the National Player of the Week, obviously is the Conference Player of the Week, ties the NCAA era record at Emporia State for sacks in the game with 4, forced us a fumble, interception. Probably could have had a second one.
I know. I don't know why he didn't get that.
That's true. We'll ask him. But in terms of individual defensive games, you said it might be the best in terms of a linebacker in your tenure.
No question.
I mean, that has to be up there as maybe one of the best defensive games in Hornet history. It's hard to get better than 11 tackles.
There's been a lot of great ones, and I'm sure these defensive guys, will tell me that there was one
that they had
maybe a game. Yeah,
sure.
I'm sure Coach McDowell's looking over here saying that he had a game that
sure.
he had so many tackles, but there's been a lot of great linebackers here through the years. So it was quite a performance from, like, sacks, interceptions, tackles. I mean, we've had guys with a lot of tackles before,
sure.
Right? Chance Rodriguez, I think 2 years ago, had a great game against Northwest
Missouri.
Missouri.
I think he had a big game. And Caleb Mondi had some big games.
Yeah, maybe had multiple interceptions. But just from the standpoint of, and kind of when I say all phases, like I said, sacks, turnover, getting a turnover, and then tackles.
Well, one guy who didn't have any tackles for you in the game was Peyton Taylor, but he had 5 pass breakups for you, and it seemed like they were trying to really force feed it to that receiver, especially down the stretch, like they were almost trying to pick on Peyton Taylor, and that did not work out because, boy, he had a ton of breakups in the second half of that football game. What allowed him to play the ball so well?
Well, I just think he's getting better. He's listening. He's paying attention. He's taking coaching, and that's how I look at it. I think that he's getting confidence. I think that's huge. He's not the most physical corner. All right. But that's I think the defensive coaches do a great job of not necessarily always, putting him in run fits and letting him do what he does best, which is cover receivers. And, I think they, going into the game, I'm sure they thought, hey, we're going to try to run the football, but at the end of the day, we're going to try to go over the top of these guys. And they did get that first one, which again, it was kind of a freak play, to be honest with you. And those things happen. Nobody really panicked in that situation, but Peyton's getting better, and I think we need to continue to have him play at that level. I think Cameron Lee's getting better. Jordan Harris is a redshirt freshman that's, he played really well against Missouri Western. So it's good to have that group playing the way they're playing.
Well, not only that, but you outrushed your second straight opponent in that game, and I think that's twofold. First of all, a little love for those guys up front who continue to block extremely well. I think it's another week where you guys don't give up any sacks, and the tackles for loss. I mean, you gave up 1 tackle for loss the entire game. I mean,
no negative plays.
Yeah, that front 5 up there for you guys to out-tackle for loss. I think it was like 9-1 or 10-1 on Saturday. I mean, they're having just an outstanding little run here.
Huge. And one of the things, and like I said, we're able to run the football better, all right, and we're getting better at it. I think if you look at the end of the game, how we ended it just lining up, and heck, we got underneath center.
Coach, I never thought that I would call a first down at the end for you, and it's saying, well, this is an ace set. I never thought I'd say that for you, but here it is. And
I know.
Camden Crooks, again, running the ball effectively, not a big play, but you guys needed 1 yard, and you get 1 yard.
That's right. And the toughness counts, and those guys started with those guys up front. And I know Coach Cash was just, man, he was fired up.
Boy, I saw him
at the end of the game.
Out there.
He worked up a sweat. I was worried about him over there on the sidelines, and it's for an O-line guy. And he said it the other day, I'm a skill guy, okay? So,
sure.
I'm probably going to mess it up how I say it, but, that's a offensive line coach's dream. When you can end a game like that, just turn around and run it 3 straight plays and
get a first
where you
down.
can run the clock out.
Yes.
Is the way you want it to be done.
He was pumped out there with the offensive line, and appropriately so. And I know that you guys are also pumped about Camden Crooks. And I mean, this is a guy that I don't think that he started the season, or maybe he isn't. I don't know where he is on the depth chart right now, but I don't know if he started as number 2 on the depth chart. But this is a guy that you have really come to rely upon, and those 3.5 yards per carry, 2 rushing touchdowns, a guy that catches passes out of the backfield. How much of a nice compliment is he to the way that Kearns wants to run the ball?
I think they're right. I think you're seeing the best. You're starting to see the best of it right now. I think Camden's played the last 2 games. He's played his best games of the season. I think, early on he was just trying to figure out the offense. I mean, we got Camden over the summertime. All right, so
the Tulsa transfer.
He's a Tulsa transfer. Recruited him very heavily in high school. He actually played receiver.
Yes.
All right, in high school. So he's actually playing a different position, and that's that can be there's a learning curve right there.
Sure.
I always believe in a receiver goes and plays running back, and he's just starting to feel comfortable and understand the offense, and I think it's making him better. And then I also think him and Diego back there together, competing. All right, because Camden started the game on Saturday, and at the end of the day, it shouldn't matter who goes in first because they both look at. I mean. Again, you look at the Detroit Lions, with the 2 running backs that they got, right? I mean, if you're able to run the football, you got 2 guys that can spell each other. You're always fresh when you go in. You're going to get the best out of them.
Not only that, but going back to you out rushing your opponent, it continues to show even more improvement in your run defense as Glades, their running back, none of their running backs were really able to get in a rhythm against you guys on Saturday, I thought.
No question.
What allowed you guys to – what do you feel like has been the biggest improvement in the run defense?
Well, I think, again, for us, I think, and I talked about it last week, is those guys have went back to our roots of, just playing the defense that we're comfortable playing. Our guys are playing fast. We've simplified things, and our guys are they're playing at a high level, and I think they're gaining confidence, and I think that's huge. I think sometimes when we maybe have struggled a little bit, we've struggled because of a little bit of lack of confidence, and they're gaining that back, and I'm just so proud of how quickly that we have turned the corner over there from giving up rushing yards like we were giving up to just really totally shutting down the running game.
Let's take a timeout. When we come back, we'll bring up quarterback coach Braden Gleason. We'll talk a little bit about the Hornet passing game, one of the most prolific passing games in the MIAA, as we continue to preview Central Oklahoma, the Hornets and the Broncos, 2 3-3 teams on the season, both looking for a 3rd straight win on Saturday. So that's coming up when we come back. Coach Braden Gleason talking Hornet quarterbacks. That's next, live from 627 Event Space. This is Hornet Talk. You're listening to Emporia State Football.
As the leaves fall, it's the perfect time to grow your financial know-how. At Emporia State Federal Credit Union, they believe in helping you create a strong financial future. Whether you're learning...
2nd and 6, they're going to throw to the end zone. In between 2 defenders. It's caught. Oatis spins off the head. Touchdown! Emporia State, Malik Oatis. Here's Kearns, first carry. Big gaping hole. Touchdown, Emporia State. Kearns speeds into the end zone for rushing touchdown number 3 on the season. There's the kick, and it's blocked. The Hornets block a kick. They block another one. Third down and 8. 35-yard line for the Lions. Martin over the middle. It's intercepted. Landon Boss. He's tackled immediately, dragging a Lion to the 33-yard line. What a game for Landon Boss. It's a design quarterback run. Here's Harris into the end zone, and he runs over a line at the goal line. Touchdown, Emporia State. Another rushing touchdown for the Hornet offense. What? Final score, Emporia State 31, Missouri Southern 24. Garin Higgins, win number 116 in his Hornet career, and he has tied Fred Welch to be the winningest football coach in Hornet history.
High school team apparel, as well as ESU, KU, and K-State gear. They also do custom screen printing for your team, booster club, or your family and fans. Catch the spirit with new fan gear from Sports Connection. Sports Connection, 2721 West 15th Emporia.
Headed to the game or celebrating after? Swing by 627 Event Space Bar and Grill. Whether you're grabbing a burger before kickoff or winding down with a beer after the buzzer, 627 has you covered. Emporia's go-to spot for great food, cold drinks, and unbeatable vibes. 627 Event Space Bar and Grill, the new home for Hornet Talk at 627 Commercial. Proud supporters of the Emporia State University Hornets. Stingers up!
Do you have a new driver in the family? Start them off with just more than the fundamentals of driving from point A to B. Make sure they understand what actually keeps their car reliable and on the road and safe. At Black Creek Diesel Automotive, they can schedule regular maintenance with oil changes, tire rotations, and more. Visit blackcreekdieselautomotive.com or give them a call at 620-343-0086. A safe car helps make a safe driver. Black Creek Diesel Automotive, 3105 West 6th, here in Emporia.
Mix 104.9.
Emporia State football back in action on the road on Saturday to face the Broncos. The Hornets will try to roll the Chos down there in Edmond, Oklahoma. Central Oklahoma in front in this series, 13-11-1. We'll have the coverage for you coming up on Saturday with a 7 o'clock kickoff, and pregame coverage comes your way at 6 on Mix 104.9. We are now joined by the second-year quarterback coach. Of course, as you guys know, many of you watched him play up here for more than a couple of years, but we call him the sheriff around here. Quarterback coach Braden Gleason joining us here on Hornet Talk. Coach, congratulations on the fantastic start that your quarterback room has had to the season. I did want to ask you, as a guy, you've mentioned, and, Coach, when we asked him after the bowl game, we asked him about you, and he got teary-eyed a little bit. I don't know if you know, Coach is a little emotional, but what was it like for you to see a historic win for Coach Higgins like that, and know that you were a part of the 116 wins, and now he's tied as the winningest coach in Emporia State history?
For me, just really special, honestly. I mean, that guy's the GOAT. I mean, that's what – he's just the GOAT. He's the greatest guy you could want to play for. I'm lucky enough to get to coach for him now, and I'm glad I get to be around him every day.
And you guys were out there, and obviously with it being a historic win and the opportunity to get that at home, you're out there on the field, and there's only 4 quarterbacks with pictures in Coach Higgins' office. And I think they're Tyler Eckenrode, Brent Wilson, Braxton Marstall, and this guy. You were all kind of out there milling around. What's that conversation like? Obviously, you guys are all at different positions in your lives. You're still in football. I don't know if those guys are in football or not, but what's that like as you kind of watch Coach Higgins get this historic achievement done?
Well, I think we all got our, kind of favorite Coach Higgins memories, whether that's getting your butt chewed or, just the laughs in the meeting room or whether he's falling asleep watching film at sometimes. You know what? We all got some stories like that. Just kind of talk about that stuff. And then the funny thing, I think one of the little kids had a football, and then we all just kind of started playing catch. Everybody was just trying to throw the football around with each other. But, we all got great stories about him, and, he was all our quarterback coach, and, we had to deal with him every day, right? Then as quarterbacks, but all great things.
Well, hey, if that turns into an arm, I think he'd like the right of first refusal for any former future Eckenrodes, Wilsons, or Marstalls. Let's get those guys. Let's get those guys pointed toward black and gold. Overall, your thoughts on Ben Harris on Saturday? 1 touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown, and a great response for this Emporia State offense with 28 points in a row after the defense gave up that early touchdown.
Yeah, I thought we started off really good. I thought Ben was executing and making really good throws. That first touchdown of the game, they threw to Malik. That's a ball in the cover two. That's a tough ball to the field, whole shot. That's a good throw. And I thought he was pretty locked in. There was just a couple plays that obviously we need to have back that you can't force those throws. But other than that, he's done a good job of executing our offense all year and really spreading the ball out. I think the last 2 games we've had 11 receivers catch the ball, and that's a huge thing in our offense. That if you just go by your rules and just throw the open guy, don't make it harder than it is, and that just shows you the success that can happen from it.
Yeah, 28 of 39 for 273 yards and a touchdown. And that was something that you and I talked about here a little bit before we got started with the segment. How do you kind of coach now that you're out of it? You're not that far away from being in it. And, you were a Harlan Hill finalist and candidate and one of the best quarterbacks, co-offensive MVP or first team MIAA quarterback your senior year. Where's that line between, wanting to think, hey, I can make every single throw and I'm invincible and I'm Superman, and you want your guys to have that confidence, but at the same time, you also want your quarterbacks to make good decisions? Yeah,
no doubt. I mean, as a quarterback, you honestly got to be the most confident guy on the field out there. You got to feel like you can do everything and execute and make every single throw, but you also got to know the time and place when to make throws and situations of the game. And, hey, maybe I can't make that before halftime or just things like that. Just maybe understanding the situation of the game more, because he does make some good throws that are tough throws that you don't ever want him to shear him away from it, because those are good throws. But there is a time and place where, hey, just get off of it, get to your check down or another guy, and we don't got to force it, and we can live to play the next play.
It was interesting because you said you felt like, I asked, was there ever a time in your career where you felt like you didn't do a good job balancing that? And you said it was your senior year. Your senior year, you had 47 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. How did you kind of compartmentalize that in your own mind? Because, I mean, you completed 74% of your passes. I mean, those are like NFL blitz numbers.
Yeah, I think it was more probably like my junior year where, there was times that I could have forced it trying to make a play. And I think you can get caught in just trying to make a play when something's not going or you don't have momentum going, and you can get caught in that. And then, going transition to senior year, it's just just take what the defense gives you. Just execute that way and just make it a simple game on yourself and just throw the open guy. There's going to be times and places when you take your shot and they're going to be wide open, but you gotta take the little stuff first and kind of set it up.
Braden Gleason is our guest quarterback coach here for Emporia State, getting set for the Broncos on Saturday. I know that it had to warm your heart when you saw the quarterback run it in for a touchdown. It was something you said you were asking for a lot more of your senior year. What's it like for you to see your quarterback now go and get one on the ground?
It was really good. It was a really good play. I mean, they emptied the box for him. It was one of those where you better score this one,
Sure,
one of those
sure.
deals. But it was a good job, good run. I mean, the run blocking was blocked up really well. Obviously can't get a penalty after the touchdown.
Sure.
But other than that, it's always good to see, and it just adds another layer to our offense that you got to defend. A quarterback will run the ball too, and you got to prepare for that as well.
I know that one thing that Coach got on you a couple times about was, maybe trying to take less of a hit maybe not get that one extra yard. It seems like Ben's done a great job of, making sure that he protects the football and getting down when he gets down. Is the fact that Coach got on you for that, is that why are you a better coach at coaching that than Coach Higgins was at trying to get you down?
I think I just wasn't listening too much sometimes.
Sure. Well, hey, I mean, it all worked out. Yeah, you ran for some touchdowns as well. What's the most exciting thing for you about Harris's development? Because, I mean, we're really nitpicking here. We looked at the numbers. He's number one in the conference in completion percentage, number one in touchdowns, number one in yards per game, number one in completions per game, number one in points responsible for, and number one in total offense, and number two in total offense in the country. So he's having a spectacular start to his Hornet career.
Yeah, I mean, the most exciting thing is that he's gotten better each and every week, and if we just can continue to get better and just take it week by week and just keep getting better at owning the offense and just executing, playing fast, that's the exciting part, is just how much room we still have to grow at quarterback and then just the offense in general.
Talk us through some of the other guys. We're talking with quarterback coach Braden Gleason. Landon Boss will be joining us next from the linebacking core. You've got Mason Dennis there as the backup. Certainly you hope that he never has to take a snap, but as we saw last year, sometimes everybody's going to have to be ready. How do you feel like the next line is there in terms of the quarterback getting ready and making sure that he is ready if he does have to come in?
Yeah, I mean, those guys are always one play away from being in the game. You never know when your number is going to be called. So, the biggest thing is for those guys is you got to prepare just like you're the starter, whether that's, you might not get all the reps throughout the week in practice. You maybe have to watch more film or, just get reps on your own and that sort of deal. But, with Mason really understands the offense and knows the offense, and he does a really good job of just executing because he understands it. And that's the biggest thing with Mason right now. And he does prepare like a starter, and, he can go in and give a spell if we need it. And then, with JMO, just my freshman, he's just younger. So, it's
Jamison Sarver,
yeah,
for people who don't know.
Yeah, so for him, it's like he's also got to prepare that way, but also keep learning the offense and how we can keep building on our offense and how we just kind of add on throughout the year. So, it's not camp anymore, and you got the day one play, so you only got 2 days to kind of learn what's going in. So, that's the biggest adjustment with him. But all those guys in the QB room with Todd and Josh, even Josh is on scout team at times, and he's still in the meetings, paying attention, knows what's going on. Just credit to those guys for having a really good, smart room and then just supporting each other. You always want to have the QB room competing with each other because it's going to get the best out of one another. But you also, there's going to be tough times when the fingers point at the quarterback, and we got to be there for each other and pick each other up and keep moving forward with it.
And not always is it when there's an injury when this happens. I mean, one of my favorite plays, I think it's one of Kent's favorite plays too, is last year where a Gunnar Gundy's helmet comes off, and on senior day, in comes Chase Rickey. I think we made him our player of the game a lot. I mean, Tyler Common was Tyler Common
Right.
that day as well. But, I mean, he had one play that he was only given one play, and he threw an 83-yard touchdown. So you do have to be ready, and those guys can make a big impact on the game.
No doubt, and that's just credit to Chase. Every time his number got called last year, he was ready to go, and because he understood the offense. He's been in it for 5 years, and he really understood it. And then when he got his chance, he just executed and played at a high level. And so you guys got to be doing the exact same thing because you have film to show them from last year. You just never know when a helmet's going to get popped off or whatever it is. You got to be ready to go in and execute.
How do you feel like now that you're getting a little bit more comfortable here? Do you feel like you're kind of developing a coaching style that, a way that you like to talk to the quarterbacks based on your experience as a player?
Yeah, I just think the biggest thing with me is how much I can relate to them, how much I can relate into the offense and what they're seeing and the reads and, hey, you are overthinking it. Just find one guy and go with it. There's certain things that we don't have to worry about. Just find one thing and go with it. So I think just that part of it, having my experience and seeing it and all that. And then I've always said, Coach Higgins, we'd play the good cop, bad cop. I'll let you guess who's who.
Sure.
But other than that, I think that's the biggest thing. And just able to talk it out with them. I think you got to be able to talk it out with quarterbacks, what they're seeing, what they're thinking, and then, okay, hey, let me pause you right there. You are overthinking it. Let's just simplify it down. And I think that helps a lot with our offense and how fast you got to play. You really got to simplify it out there, and Ben's done a really good job of doing that.
How, when you are the quarterback coach, because you get to see a lot in terms of the scrambles and everything, but how much more fun is it when you're watching your offensive line protect Ben so well and just not give up sacks and just not give up any really negative plays?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's awesome to see. Ben's got so much time back there. There's times where I'm like, hey, just try. Will you just go through your progressions? They're doing a great job protecting you. Just get through your progressions at times. And, and it kind of brings me back to my senior year. I don't remember what the stat was, but it was every 40 pass attempts, you get a rush or something, things like that. Just trust what they're doing. They're doing a great job, and being able to run the ball effectively, whether that's the quarterback, the running back, that takes a lot of pressure off Ben and those guys. So all the credit to them, because it always starts up front.
Looking at this Central Oklahoma team, they are giving up 28 points per game on the season here, and looking at their sack numbers, they got 15 sacks on the year, so they are a team that will try to get after the quarterback a little bit. In terms of your study today on the team's off day, anything that's popped out to you about the Bronze and Blue?
They're a solid football team. They're, like you said, they bring pressure. They can get to the quarterback, whether that's rushing 3 or 4. They got a really good D-line, good back end. We just got to go play our brand of football and, just go out there and execute and do what we do.
It's the black and gold and the bronze and blue coming up on Saturday. The Hornets and the Broncos will have the coverage for you with the RV Doc pregame show at 6 o'clock on Mix 104.9. Coach Gleason, always appreciate a chance to talk to the sheriff. Thanks so much. Braden Gleason, ladies and gentlemen, the quarterback coach in his second year here at Emporia State. We'll take a timeout. We'll go to the other side of the football when we come back. We'll talk to the National NCAA Division II Defensive Player of the Week, Landon Boss from Osage City, Kansas. That's next. Live from 627 Event Space, this is Hornet Talk. You're listening to Emporia State Football.
At Shelter Insurance, we believe insurance should adjust to fit your needs. That's why we work with you to design an auto, home, and life insurance plan that's particular to you. Insurance that fits just right. And Shelter is known for our award-winning customer service, satisfied customers, and a plan for you. Ready to check us out? Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
See Shelter Agent Kelly Medrano for a free personal protection review.
It's time to fall forward into football season and cheer on your favorite teams. So why not get new gear for you and your family at Sports Connection? Sports Connection carries Emporia High and area high school team apparel, as well as ESU, KU, and K-State gear. They also do custom screen printing for your team, booster club, or your family and fans. Catch the spirit with new fan gear from Sports Connection. Sports Connection, 2721 West 15th Emporia.
Headed to the game or celebrating after? Swing by 627 Event Space Bar and Grill. Whether you're grabbing a burger before kickoff or winding down with a beer after the buzzer, 627 has you covered. Emporia's go-to spot for great food, cold drinks, and unbeatable vibes. 627 Event Space Bar and Grill, the new home for Hornet Talk at 627 Commercial. Proud supporters of the Emporia State University Hornets. Stingers up!
Do you have a new driver in the family? Start them off with just more than the fundamentals of driving from point A to B. Make sure they understand what actually keeps their car reliable and on the road and safe. At Black Creek Diesel Automotive, they can schedule regular maintenance with oil changes, tire rotations, and more. Visit blackcreekdieselautomotive.com or give them a call at 620-343-0086. A safe car helps make a safe driver. Black Creek Diesel Automotive, 3105 West 6th, here in Emporia.
As the leaves fall, it's the perfect time to grow your financial know-how. At Emporia State Federal Credit Union, they believe in helping you create a strong financial future. Whether you're learning to budget, save for the holidays, or plan for the new year, they're here to help every step of the way. Free courses and calculators can be found by clicking on the banner at esfcu.com or text or call them today. 620-342-2336. Federally insured by NCUA.
When you need fast care, Newman Regional Health Medical Partners Express Care is here for you. Conveniently located on site at Newman Regional Health, Express Care offers walk-in service for non-emergency illnesses and injuries. No appointment needed. Open 7 days a week to keep you feeling your best. Call today at 620-343-7828. Trust Express Care for quick, reliable treatment. Newman Regional Health Medical Partners Express Care, helping the Hornets achieve their healthy goals.
Mix 104.9.
Back at 627 Event Space, it's Hornet Talk here on Mix 104.9 as we are about at the midway point through the season. In fact, we just crossed it. 6 games in, 5 to go for Emporia State, and looking to build some momentum here down the stretch as the Hornets still have a lot of big games left, and one of them coming up against Central Oklahoma. The Hornets still with quite a few games left against teams that are ahead of them in the standings. One of them is coming up this weekend. The Central Oklahoma Broncos pregame coverage begins at 6 o'clock on Mix 104.9. We are joined now by a junior Mike linebacker out of Osage City, Kansas. He's the National Defensive Player of the Week. 11 tackles, 9 solo, 4 sacks, forced a fumble, and had an interception. Not a bad day at the office for Landon Boss joining us here on the show. Also the MIAA Defensive Player of the Week. Landon, congratulations on the honors, the accolades, and a hell of a game for you on Saturday.
Yep, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Looking at that, when you guys get in there and does it feel different when you're going through like that? Do you kind of know in the middle of the game that, man, I'm having a heck of a game, or are you just so focused on making the next play it doesn't really cross your mind?
Yeah, it honestly really doesn't cross my mind. We're just worried about getting that win and, getting on to the next week.
For you guys defensively, especially after that first play goes for 75 yards, felt like for the rest of the first half and really for the majority of the third quarter and to the very start of the fourth quarter, you guys really dominated them defensively. How good are you guys at kind of putting that adversity behind you and just getting on to the next play?
Yeah, adversity is, something we've talked a lot about lately. It kind of hit us early in the season. So just talking about it a lot and, knowing that big plays are going to happen and we're going to give up plays, but we just have to regroup and come back and keep fighting.
You guys have been almost living in the backfield, it seems like. What's allowed you guys to be able to get downhill and make so many plays that are negative for the opponent and make those tackles for loss?
Defense is a mindset, and I think, we just have the right mindset at times and, just making the plays that we can. And, obviously the D-line is tearing it up and the back end's tearing it up, and that kind of just frees us linebackers up to just kind of play free and just run around and tackle people, basically.
Not that the other guys aren't doing well, and we're talking with Landon Boss, junior linebacker on this Emporia State Hornet defense, but when you've got a guy like Caden Fields in the middle there at, the middle of the defensive line at nose guard or nose tackle, whatever you guys call him, but he's made 33 tackles on the year. When you've got a guy that's so disruptive there in the middle, how much does that open things up for the guys on the edge and guys like you and Gabe Booker from the linebacker spot to come in and make your own plays?
Yeah, it's huge. Playing Mike, I'm right in the middle, so I'm right behind him a lot. And, he takes on a lot of double and triple teams, so that really clears things up for me.
Big interception for you. Boy, you just kind of had to react fast and snatch that out of the sky. What did you see on that play?
I had the back out of the backfield, and then I just kind of got my eyes back to the quarterback, and the ball was right there. But there's a second one too that I missed. That one bothered me more.
Sure, it looked like you could have had 2 for sure. But you're the team leader and the MIAA leader in sacks with 7 on the year. You're the MIAA leader in tackles for loss, MIAA leader in solo tackles, 6th in the league in tackles. How well prepared for the MIAA did you feel like you were coming out of, if maybe the best JUCO conference in the country, if not one of the best in playing all those years for the Grizzlies and the Jayhawk?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of similarities, but also a lot of differences. Every week you could win, you could lose. It's good games every single week, and there's a lot of talent at both levels. But it's really just my teammates around me, D-line, and the secondary that allow me to make plays. So
you guys got so many great plays, I thought, defensively. When you guys have the coverage that you've been able to get, especially these last 2 or 3 weeks with guys like Peyton Taylor making plays and Tyler Schultz making plays, and especially in the Missouri Western game where you guys really didn't blitz that much. It was really just 3 guys going forward and such great coverage. And then, when they bring you in, you get the sack. How freeing is that just to know that you can trust your back line and the 5 defensive backs that they're just going to be able to cover?
Yeah, coverage sacks are huge in the game of football, and just allowing the guys up front to kind of go hunt, and the guys in the back end are going to lock things down and take care of everything behind you.
Now, you're from such a big athletic family with mom and dad, such big athletes. Your sister was our KVOE Female Athlete of the Year, and your sophomore obviously going to be in line for several medal opportunities at Osage City. How competitive are you guys?
We're super competitive. We're always trying to, I guess, one-up each other in everything we do, but we all support each other and care a lot about each other. So
being a part of that win for Coach Higgins as a current player, to watch him get win number 116, what was that like for you guys on the team now?
It was super cool. I obviously haven't been here for very many of them, and hopefully you're going to be a part of a lot of them in the future, but it was definitely cool to, see everybody kind of come back and just see how much it really means to the people who played for him.
We're here with Landon Boss, a linebacker out of Osage City. One thing that Coach Laporto has talked a lot about is trying to make sure that the defense gets simplified for you guys. How much do you feel like that's helped these last couple of weeks?
I think it's been huge. Just kind of allows us not to have to think and just kind of play free and fast, and that's super important, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Is just just be able to run around, not have to think too much, and just make our plays.
Last thing here for you, this Central Oklahoma team. Not exactly sure what they're going to roll out there. They've had some injuries at quarterback. They've had some injuries at running back, and they've been a little bit up and down, inconsistent. But that as good as they can be and have been recently. So what stood out to you as you've tried to study the Broncos, and how do you try to study a team that maybe hasn't been full strength?
They're going to run the ball very well. They got a good O-line and multiple really good running backs. So that's something that, we've kind of done a better job of the past few weeks, but we can't be complacent when it comes to stopping the run, and we just got to come to practice every day focused on that and go to work.
It's the Hornets and the Chos coming up on Saturday. Hornets and the Broncos. We'll have it for you from Chad Richardson Stadium on Saturday in Edmond, Oklahoma. Congratulations again. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
MIAA Player of the Week, Landon Boss, joining us here on the Hornet Talk. We'll wrap things up with Coach in just a moment. Get you set for Saturday live from 627 Event Space. This is Hornet Talk. You're listening to Emporia State Football.
Headed to the game or celebrating after? Swing by 627 Event Space Bar and Grill. Whether you're grabbing a burger before kickoff or winding down with a beer after the buzzer, 627 has you covered. Emporia's go-to spot for great food, cold drinks, and unbeatable vibes. 627 Event Space Bar and Grill, the new home for Hornet Talk at 627 Commercial. Proud supporters of the Emporia State University Hornets. Stingers up!
We all make plans for the future, but car accidents, break-ins, and unexpected fires can disrupt those plans. At Shelter Insurance, our agents help design insurance plans that work for you and help protect what matters most. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Care trusted by the athletes on the Hornet fields. Their expert medical team serves the greater Emporia area with comprehensive treatment for sprains, fractures, joint pain, and sports-related injuries. Trusted by athletes and available to everyone. Schedule your appointment today with Newman Regional Health Medical Partners at 620-343-2376. Newman Regional Health, achieving healthy goals.
As the leaves fall, it's the perfect time to grow your financial know-how. At Emporia State Federal Credit Union, they believe in helping you create a strong financial future. Whether you're learning to budget, save for the holidays, or plan for the new year, they're here to help every step of the way. Free courses and calculators can be found by clicking on the banner at esfcu.com or text or call them today. 620-342-2336. Federally insured by NCUA.
Do you have a new driver in the family? Start them off with just more than the fundamentals of driving from point A to B. Make sure they understand what actually keeps their car reliable and on the road and safe. At Black Creek Diesel Automotive, they can schedule regular maintenance with oil changes, tire rotations, and more. Visit blackcreekdieselautomotive.com or give them a call at 620-343-0086. A safe car helps make a safe driver. Black Creek Diesel Automotive, 3105 West 6th, here in Emporia.
Mix 104.9.
Stay up late with us on Saturday. It is the Hornets and the Broncos, 7 o'clock, and pregame coverage begins at 6 on Mix 104.9. Coach, a little bit different because you're playing so late. You guys aren't going to travel till Saturday. That's a little bit different. I know you're a creature of habit, like your routine, but got to change it up here when you go on the road to Central Oklahoma, I guess. They like their nighttime kickoffs.
Yeah, they do. It worked pretty good for us last time we did this, which is Missouri Western. We had a 6 p.m. game, and
that worked out pretty good.
Worked
Coach.
out pretty good for us.
Did
so
you guys go day of as well?
Went to day of as well. So it's we try to get them up, early and try to keep them, involved with with meetings and a few things and where their mind's right. So, and I've done it both ways. I've went the night before and spent the night and won games and lost games.
Sure.
So, again, your kids got to be ready to play regardless.
Just real quickly, and I know you mentioned, hey, didn't want to talk about it too much, but for you guys to see the congratulation video with all those former players giving you congratulations on win number 116, what was it like to just see those guys all come back? The ones who are in person, the ones on the video, just congratulating you on that milestone.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just that's what, the older I've gotten, of course, that's what coaching's about, is developing the relationships. And that's the most important thing to me is wins are awesome. They really are. They're great. But more importantly, the relationships that I've built throughout my time here at Emporia State and being very fortunate and blessed to be here at my alma mater, a place where I got my start at. So it was, that was special. And of course, seeing the guys, a lot of guys that I hadn't seen for a very long time, which to me has been one of the neatest things about it, is being able to either get a text or see some guys on a video that maybe I haven't seen in a while or talk to, so, so that's nice. It is.
Well, like I told Braden, I don't know which kid was out there, but the future Eckenroths or Marstall's going to make sure we get those guys in black and gold for sure. I know
I won't be recruiting them.
Final thing, quickly, your initial thoughts on the Central Oklahoma team that certainly came in with a lot of expectation, but they've been battling the injury bug. But I know that they're talented as all get out for sure.
No, I think they're playing their best football right now. I think that early on their starting quarterback got hurt, and they had their starting quarterback was back. He played last year. I feel like their offense goes with him. I think he's a good player. They do a lot of good things on defense. There's three. I got two of my former players there.
Yes.
Coaching. All right. So I think those guys do a great job. And then, of course, Devin Johnson, who's a GA for me, he coaches there. So, again, they're a well-coached football team. Coach Doral does a great job. It's going to be a big test for us. But I do know this. Our players, we will be ready to play.
Coach, we'll talk to you on Thursday.
You
Thanks
bet.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Head Coach Garin Higgins, ladies and gentlemen, and that is our Hornet Talk here for today. So we'll talk to you Saturday from Chad Richardson Stadium in Edmond, Oklahoma. Thanks to everybody for coming out tonight and listening online, kvoe.com/listen. Make sure you tip your server. Thanks to the great folks here at 627 Event Space. Ashley and the crew can't wait to serve you. I'm Blake Cripps saying good night. Thank you to Grace Ishback at our KFFX studios. I'll talk to you on Saturday, and Stingers up.